I am so beyond tired of Predators fans on these stinking Facebook pages going off on PK Subban. Literally the stupidest thing that anyone can ever do is sit there and go on and on and on about how the Preds need to trade
him.
Subban. No. See, this is the problem.
Trade him.
No,
he's
worth trade. No. Here's the best part: is that they're asking, is he worth $9 million?
He's taking up our cap space.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3 Norris nominations and a victory in the Norris Trophy conversation means that he's the worst defenseman on this team. Predators fans, if you're out there and listening, PK Subban is one of the best, if not the best. Actually, take it off. He and Roman Josi are close probably. PK Subban is the best defenseman on the Nashville Predators. And guess what? He's also one of the best 5 defensemen in the NHL. So if you continue to sit there and say that he needs traded, you're incorrect and you have no idea what you're talking about. Rant over. What do you guys think?
I just think it's ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, you can't tell me that Drew Doughty can get paid $11 million and PK Subban gets $9 million, and you tell me that he's not worth $9 million.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're listening. Welcome to the Hattie podcast.
Episode 2, baby.
We're going in strong right now on a PK meltdown because every Nashville fan seems to hate him.
This is not a overnight ordeal. This has been going on for the entire season.
But the best part is,
his stats are basically the exact same as last year.
And also, the other problem, and he was hurt.
And he's only played 32 games.
That's the problem. Here's the thing that drives me crazy, is that people in this organization, for some reason, feel this loyalty to Shea Weber.
They are, oh my gosh.
I understand that you love Shea Weber. I get it. He's a good defenseman. He was good while he was here. He probably deserved to win a North while he was here.
Probably.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Shea Weber, you want to complain about Subban's cap hit? Look at Weber's cap hit.
Yeah. It was 7.8 plus some other stuff, which equated to $14 million. But the true cap hit was $7.8 million for the Predators.
It's mind-blowing that people want PK Subban gone when he is... are they watching this?
I mean, do they know that if he went and tested free agency, because obviously he can't, but if he was, he would get at least $10 million?
At least. Minimum.
Yeah.
I think at least 11.
And I don't think they realize the salary cap is going to continue to go up.
I was about to say, I mean, if fans actually knew and look, if you don't know about the website capfriendly.com, look at our cap hit. It will tell you our cap hit, our projected cap space, every contract from every player on our team, and how much they're getting paid, our current cap space. People don't understand that we're not in a bad spot right now as far as money goes. We have money to spend. PK is not taking up an astronomical amount of money. I mean, we have Ryan Johansson for $1 million. Yeah, he's doing great too. But, I mean, we have a couple big contracts. We are not hurting, though.
I just don't get it. I've never understood it. It makes me mad. But
we'll throw this out here. PK Subban is the 12th highest cap hit in the NHL. Players who are in front of him are Malkin. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Ovechkin makes sense. Kopitar makes sense. Eichel. Don't know that I take Eichel over Subban.
Eichel's
Carey
making
Price, and he has a cap hit right now of 10.5.
Wow.
And he is about to start a deal, and he's 30. His actual salary is 12. Nylander has a current cap hit of 10.2.
Way too much.
Kane is 10.5. Tavares is currently 11, and McDavid is 12.5.
12.5.
The other name that's in there is the 10th highest is Jamie Benn. Are you kidding me?
Jamie Benn.
Imagine being 22 years old. Imagine being 22 years old and getting paid every 2 weeks $500,000 for the next 7 years. Just take that in for a second, because that's what Connor McDavid is doing.
Connor McDavid.
He plays a few hockey games a week.
He's still 21, by the way.
Oh, 21, my bad. And he's getting paid over $500,000 every 2 weeks.
Rude. I think Connor McDavid's overpaid.
I think he is too. I mean, I think it's kind of ridiculous because
he did just turn 22.
Okay, well,
I thought he had a birthday. But anyway, I agree with Heath. I think he's overpaid. Why? Because the Edmonton Oilers are in cap hell. They can't afford to get a team around him because they're paying him so much.
To point that out, to give that as an example, Edmonton currently has $51,000 of projected cap space. And so we want to sit here and complain about PK Subban's contract. Look at Edmonton in a place where they're essentially saying, okay, we're going to use all our cap space, like Nashville, and, not going to throw this on Connor, but you sit here and look at it, and they just have bad contracts.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, I remember when it first came out, they go, we actually could have offered him more, but he signed a team-friendly deal at $12.5 million a season.
Here's the crazy thing. I fully believe that in 3 years that McDavid deal is going to look incredibly good.
It probably will.
It probably will when the caps go up and everything, but
It's going to go up, 3-4 a year?
right now you're thinking, if you're an Oilers fan and you're looking at how bad your team is in the cap space right now, you're thinking it's a selfish contract, even though McDavid is so worth it. He is such a good player.
And here's the question. So you look at Connor McDavid, who's at 12.5, and then you look at the Preds and you look at Ryan Johansson, and he's at 8. Do we think McDavid is that much better than Ryan Johansson?
McDavid's got
McDavid's
72
pretty
points
good.
on the year, and Joey has 42. He's 30 points better than Ryan Johansson.
That's a good point. But then again, McDavid's the only point getter on that team.
You're right.
You look at Ryan Johansson, who's not having to carry the loader, so we think.
We're even. The
And then
Preds
we
are
look
even.
at this team without Ryan Johansson.
That's scary.
And do we realize Ryan Johansson is maybe the most underrated player in the Nashville Predators?
He moves the puck up and down the ice so well. That is his gift.
And he's solid on defense.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty. I mean, I don't know. I think you look at him and you can say I guess he would be. I mean, when what game was? Who did they play the other night? I forgot now.
Florida Panthers is when he wasn't
Um,
there.
You could tell because Philip Forsberg and Arvidsson both could not get set up for a puck to the net. I mean,
No, Cal Yarncrow was centering that line for
then
the
it
first
became
part of the game.
Sissons a little bit later.
Sissons, and I must say, this podcast is happening right after the Colorado Avalanche played the Preds, and Colton Sissons played well with that top line, though they did score once. Victor Arvidsson did score.
Did he?
But,
I wasn't.
It was the beauty of a wrap.
Yeah, oh, man.
He would have
RV
scored that goal if he was the only one on the ice.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't necessarily credit that. Here's my thing. You lose Ryan Johansson, 2 games suspended, and you say, okay, let's see what this team is without Ryan Johansson. First off, is it a fair suspension for what he got?
I think we're thankful it wasn't more. Obviously, it was not an intentional
Right.
flagrant foul at all. But for what it looked like on film and looking at all the comments on Twitter afterwards about how dirty Ryan Johansson is of a player, kind of thinking, and I know some Predators PR people tweeted it too, about we should be thankful that he didn't get 5 games.
He could, if he would have hurt who he
Yeah.
hit, he would have been suspended for 5 games.
Because it was on Mark Scheifele, correct?
Yeah, it was on Scheifele.
He would have gotten 5 team, not 10 probably, but 5 to 7 games.
I'll tell you, when you look at the play, and you can sit there and read Twitter comments. I think when you look at the play in fast motion, I don't think it looked as bad.
No, it doesn't.
And then you look at it in
Slow
motion.
it down, man. It just looks like a slash over
I mean, the
his head.
stick flexes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine being able to receive
That would hurt so bad.
But okay, so you look at all this and you say, okay, Joey gets 2 games. In my opinion, it's a fair suspension.
Yeah,
it
is.
I agree.
It wasn't intentional.
No.
He doesn't have a record or a background of it.
No, I mean, I don't think Johansson ever did this intentionally.
No.
But I understand Johansson is as...
He's physical. He's out there
physical.
doing his job.
He's also been lucky to never get anything like this happen
Yeah.
before because
Yeah.
his stick flails around.
He
does.
gets so many slashes.
He's floppy, man.
It's because he's... Okay, is he lazy? Do you think it's because
He
he's
might
lazy?
be a little bit.
It feels like he's a lazy skater when you watch him on the ice, and he works hard. I no discredit to
Yeah,
Ryan Johansson.
absolutely. Joey
But
Johansson.
man, he just skates like he's hurting all the time. I don't know if that's his style, but it just looks painful.
But then you watch him in the playoffs, and I don't think he looks
No,
like that.
it's like
he tries in the playoffs.
He's like, I've been doing cardio the past 6 months getting ready for the playoffs, and then it's just boom,
Hey, I'm
playoff
fine with
Johansson.
that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, since we recorded last, we've seen a lot of things. We've seen the Johansson suspension. It's been 4 games since we last recorded. We had the Caps. We
Good
had
Winnipeg.
the Winnipeg Jets. We had the Florida Panthers. And we had Colorado earlier this afternoon. 2-2.
There were some good wins and there were some bad losses in the 4 games.
They were
stretch.
extreme. I mean, every single win or loss was by 3 goals. Caps we beat by 5. Winnipeg we lost by 4. Florida we lost by 3. Colorado we won by 3.
But the Florida game, we lost by 3.
Man, but that was a horrible. Like,
It was a
that
bad
was a
game.
bad
That was a
game.
bad
It was a
game.
bad
You're
game.
right. You're right.
Pecorino, I agree
wouldn't
with
say
Heath.
it's
Heath looked over. No, I'm not saying it was his fault. But like Heath looked over me and he said, "I haven't seen Pekka that mad
He was
in a while."
mad.
You could just tell by his body
Like,
language.
no, there was a point where he would normally go get the puck off after an icing or whatever, or track it to make sure it doesn't hit the side of the net or something. He just sat right in the middle.
He didn't do anything. It
Crossed
was
over.
you
I mean, he
could
was
tell
mad.
it was a frustrating night for him.
But he
the
got
team.
no help that game.
No, the
I'm
defense was pitiful.
Yeah, I'm also starting to think that the Washington win was not great. Let me give you an example. Washington lost to Columbus on Saturday in overtime. The following Monday, they had a home game against St. Louis, lost 4-1. The next night they were in Nashville, lost 7-2. The next Friday in Washington, lost 2-0. Yesterday, Sunday, in Chicago, they lost 8-5.
I saw.
Wow.
They're struggling.
I don't know if that win against Washington was any good.
Probably not, because I mean how they're going and how they were going and still are.
I mean, that's like playing this Preds team when we were slumping. I mean, anyone could have beat us.
And so that makes me wonder, is this little 2-2 stretch actually worse for the Preds?
It could be. I mean, because it gives you a sense of hope that they're actually good, or
I mean, I'll take the win and the points any day. But yeah, the false hope thing could happen.
because I mean, you look at that 3-game home stretch, which is really it's a tough January because they don't have many home. How many home games? I think 5 in January.
4 or 5, yeah.
I'll check that real quick.
But you look at it and you say,
Yeah, 4
they
home
really.
games in January.
Yeah.
We
I
played
mean,
them all.
that Capitals game, yeah, you could almost say it's almost a failed home stretch because I mean, or a home stand because you get basically blown out really bad against Winnipeg, really bad against
in the biggest
Florida.
game in the biggest game of January.
And if you want to know something funky about the Winnipeg game, is prior to that game, David Poyle had said something, which obviously we're going to get to later, but what he wanted to see how his team would come out against Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And if they would have done well, he would have liked it. If he didn't, he that's when he started contemplating on.
I tell you what,
things.
though, watching the Preds play today versus Colorado, they look solid, and that's without Joey and Kyle Turris.
Yeah.
And they look solid. Like, they shut down the Landeskog, McKinnon, Rantanen line. It was like they were just another second or third line out there. I mean, they were unheard of.
And to be fair, Colorado is 3-5-2 in their last.
Yeah, they
10.
are.
Yeah, I mean,
they're struggling
hard.
bad
Yeah.
right now too. Nashville currently has an 8-point cushion on second place in the Central.
Yeah.
This
It's
the
nuts.
true test for this hockey team in the last 2 weeks, or I guess last week, is going to be the Golden Knights in Vegas. Golden Knights are hot.
Yeah.
Right now?
Vegas
Vegas
is hot
is-
right now.
So Wednesday night.
Wednesday night in Vegas is going to be a very big game for the Predators. Because you remember, they have the exact same record at the moment. They have a game going on right now. But the Vegas Golden Knights, remember, they started out average at best, and they just turned it on here in the last couple weeks.
Vegas lost to Minnesota.
Did they lose?
Tonight. Yeah,
Okay.
4-2.
So the Vegas lost then.
Wow, games are so early.
But it's still not – if Vegas is still doing very well in their last, 10, 15 games.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they come out against Vegas.
They just beat Pittsburgh on Saturday 7-3.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
8-2-0 in their last 10.
They're really good right now.
They're hot. And so you're going to see, I think, as time goes on, you're going to see this national team. Who are they?
Yeah, I mean you have to, because I can't really say those four games in the past are really good tellers of how this team is.
Yeah.
This Vegas game, and you got Florida after that, and it's not a big game, but Dallas maybe. Dallas is kind of getting up there a little bit.
Here's something to discuss that is interesting. We talk a little bit about the Winnipeg game. Kevin Fiala played 11 minutes in that game
That was rough.
This is interesting.
against
The
your
Giants.
top team that you're probably
The
if
team
you
you're
wanna go to
behind to in the Central
If
Division.
you want to go to the Stanley Cup final,
You're gonna have to go through.
you
that.
have to. It goes through Winnipeg.
I know when Cole and I were sitting there in the third period, he was like, "I don't see Kevin Fiala."
Yeah, we were.
Oh yeah, I guess were you there?
Yeah, I was
can't
at
Yeah, we're like, wait, where's Kevin?
Literally, we looked at the bench. And we're like, we don't see him. Like, is he sitting in the dressing room? Did Laviolette?
I think he played a whole 20 seconds of that third period.
But it's a good thing for
as
him.
we were losing.
Oh, I know. He needed to be
It's a good
benched.
thing for him.
Yeah.
He has played terrible.
Listen to his last couple games. So he played 17 minutes versus Florida. He played 11 versus the Jets. So in those games, he's played very little. I guess he played a little bit more versus Florida against a less physical team. His last goal was January 7th in Toronto. Since then, the Predators have played 6 games. 7. He has not scored in 7 games. He's had a couple of assists. He's been -1.
Man, he's minus everything right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's back down to a -10 plus minus right now.
He was minus 15, at the beginning of like 2 weeks ago or something?
I'd also like to spit something out. You said, Fiala's on a 7-game not scoring streak right now. I mean, Nick Bonino said in his post-game interview today, he's like, sometimes you go 19 games without scoring and then you have stretches like this. He was referring to Nick Bonino's last 6 games. He has 5 goals, 3 assists, 8 points, and a +9 rating.
He's been unreal.
He's on fire.
He started out the year not scoring.
Yeah.
What was it, 19 games?
Yeah.
He scored and finally in Arizona, got a fluke goal like 19 games into the year.
He's done very well this year.
His stats, he already has almost matched his stats from last
Yeah, he
year.
has 13 goals and 13 assists. And his plus-minus is +23.
Talk about a guy who plays defense.
Yeah.
I mean,
He needs to play
it's what we talk about all the time. You get these players that come in from other teams, and it takes them a year to acclimate to this team style of play. You look at Nick Bonino, 71 games.
Ryan
25
Hartman.
points.
Ryan Hartman was the same way. I mean, he's got 9 goals, 7 assists, but he's got a +4. He's on the ice more for scoring than not. So, I mean...
Here's a question to think about. Would you rather have a player like Kevin Fiala, who is going to be skilled, who you can toss him out there in the shootout and he has a good chance of scoring, who you can do this and that and you can toss him on your power play, or would you rather have a guy like Nick Bonino, who is going to just be solid all around, even though he might not have that just skill level that's like pow, pow, goal here, goal here.
If I had to pick one for my street hockey team, I would pick Nick Bonino because he's more consistent. But, man, I tell you what, and there's also, with the PK Subban thing on Facebook, there's also a lot of trade Fiala because he's sucking compared to last year and whatever. But the dude's 22 years old. I mean, I don't want to trade him because I feel like he has so much potential to still give. He's got growing to do. He's going to get better. He's not going to get worse.
And we talked a little bit about this last week, but what does his contract look like?
For next season?
Yeah.
Well, I guess this summer, theoretically. But I think he's going to want a lot of money. I think.
He in his brain, I think he's better than
If he had last year's season this year where it was 23 goals, 25 assists, we'd be paying him close to $5 million, $6 million. But I think with the way he's playing this year, give him a $2 million contract if he wants to stay in Nashville.
He needs to think for himself right now, because this is where a guy makes or breaks himself.
Yeah.
If he is in this point, he is either about to become a dud in the NHL or he's about to become a superstar. Does he want to sign? Because right now he's at a point where he could probably sign a term deal for less money.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you stay in Nashville and play and take your $2 million, you're going to play with such better talent in Nashville than you will taking $5 million at another team.
I'm not going to rail on the Panthers.
But if you take a $5 million contract with the Panthers,
Who are you?
Yeah. Like, your name isn't big. You're just another guy. And you're not playing with talent. Like, Kevin Fiala will do better. If the Fiala-Turris-Smith line ever gets healthy, I believe Fiala will get better.
Oh, absolutely.
And when that happens, man, Fiala's going to be dangerous again. And we're going to see it. And he just needs to take, like, the $2.5 million, whatever the Preds offer him, which isn't going to be much unless he just throws a goal a game for the rest of the season, but that's not going to happen.
but you can't sign him to no. I don't think after this season you can't sign him more than $4 million a year at the moment because you don't want to get
I don't
locked.
think you can sign him to
No.
$2.5
You probably
million a
can't.
year.
As a fan, if he signed for more than $3 million, I would seriously question the Preds and be like, David, What's
but
up?
Even at that point, $3 million, and no, maybe three, not three, four. If they for some reason decide to shell out $4 million on Kevin Fiala, you're going to be stuck with him for a while because no one's going to want him if he just fails.
Here's the thing. Here are the people you have to re-sign at the end of this year: Ryan Hartman, Kevin Fiala, Rocco Grimaldi, Colton Sissons. This might sound ridiculous. Maybe. I don't know. People can hate on me. I'm taking Ryan Hartman above Kevin Fiala.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking Colton Sissons above Kevin Fiala.
Yeah.
And for crying out loud, there's a chance I take Rocco Grimaldi.
I knew you were about to say that.
I think you could take Rocco Grimaldi above Kevin Fiala right now.
Dude's a mini
The way
Arkansas.
he plays with so much
Passion.
He wants to be out. He wants to play the game. He wants to have that roster spot because he's been turned down so many times.
He's got 4 goals and 4 assists in the small time he's been here, and that's plenty for me because he's trying so hard.
What is his plus minus?
I mean, but you got to look at it too. The guy is 5'6".
Rocco Grimaldi's plus minus is -2.
-2.
Okay, but look at the lines he's on.
Yeah, he's not playing.
He's played 32 games.
Yeah.
He's been here 32 games.
But then you look
Wow.
at Fiala, who's -10,
Yeah.
who's normally on the second line.
And Fiala's played 51 games.
I guess when you look at it, Kevin Fiala has been doing a lot better than Rocco Grimaldi when it comes to scoring.
Correct.
When you
I mean, yeah, he's got some assists.
when you're looking at fourth liners, I mean, come on. Mika Salamaki has 5 more games than Grimaldi, and he has less points. He has a better plus minus, but he has less points than Rocco Grimaldi.
Grimaldi has 8 points in the year compared to Kevin Fiala's 28.
Right. And I think a part of that is just the ice time Grimaldi versus Fiala gets.
Fiala has 20 assists.
Yeah, he does.
I'll tell you, we're sitting here just trying to destroy Kevin Fiala.
I'm trying to save him because I think he has a lot of potential.
He does, but it's a very risky deal with Kevin
Yeah.
Fiala right now. Because we all know he always starts slow.
You don't know
in the
how
first
much you
half of the
sign him
season.
for. You don't know what he's worth, and you don't know what he's going to be in the future. So do you trade him to get that guy for playoffs? Because we're going to have to get – Poyle's going to pull someone in for playoffs. Who is it going to be? I have no idea.
You have to find somebody. With
You
that
can't
front
trade
presence.
Kevin Fiala. I hate to
You
say
can't.
it.
You
No.
can't.
Trade him.
No,
No.
you can't. He's too young. If he was 28 and doing this, yeah, by all means.
But who do you get rid of? Like, who do you ship off? Honestly,
You know what?
if it was just, okay, pick your player to ship off, buy Mika Salamaki, I'm sorry.
You have to find somebody that can get in front of that. Because every time I watch this power play from the Predators, it's embarrassing. Nobody goes to the front of it. They take shots, and it's just wide open. You
Yeah.
only can see it all day.
Well, when you look at it's really bad. You've got to get an net front presence. You look at the year we went to the Stanley Cup in 2016, 2017.
We had a power play.
We had a
Well,
goodness
yes.
gracious, yes, that is awful. I saw a stat going into this game
Yeah.
where it was like 0 for 21
Yeah.
in the last 21. But that's aside. You look at our team and what we need right now. If you're going to make a trade, and you look at the 16-17 year, Nashville made 2 trades that meant anything. One of them was you gave up a 4th round pick for Vernon Fiddler.
That was worthless.
It was essentially worthless. Fiddler
Yeah.
did not do much.
There's-
I guess he scored a big goal in St. Louis.
Yeah, he did. There's one
but
more
he
I
was
really
depth.
think
And then you also gave Felix Gerard, who is not. I don't even know
I
what
don't
he's
know where
doing.
he's
I don't
at
think
anymore.
he's doing. I believe he went to Colorado, and he's not on their roster. I don't think their active roster for Cody McLeod.
That was, I think, is somebody they have to find again.
We need another Cody McLeod for playoffs, especially to keep up with Winnipeg. And it's not because of his goal scoring, because the dude had 4 goals in 2016-17. Also, shout out to Vernon Fiddler. You were a waste. You had 1 goal and a -4.
Hey, don't be mean on Vernon Fiddler.
He was essentially there for depth.
He was
Yeah,
there
he
for
was a
veteran
depth guy.
presence and depth.
Is that what this team's missing?
It might be, but then again, you look at it and you say,
Also,
yeah,
another
it
one.
might be actually.
Another worthless one, P.A. Parento.
No,
Yeah, well-
not really.
Look at his stats.
I mean, yeah, but he was a decent acquisition.
He was a healthy scratch throughout most of that season. All this is one of those things. You know, maybe you need to make a roster move. Maybe you need to go out and get yourself a guy who's going to be mature and can lead. Right now, your oldest players, and I'm trying to pull this up. Right now, your oldest players, you're looking at Dan Hamhuis
Pekka.
and Pekka.
Yep.
And those are your 2 oldest players. I'm sorry, what playoff experience? That's depth playoff experience. Does Dan
You
Hamhuis
also miss. I know he
None.
came back last season.
have? Mike Fisher.
You miss a Mike Fisher
You miss him
because he had been to the Stanley Cup Finals once with Ottawa.
He's a leader.
I'm not railing on Roman Josi here, but Roman Josi, I don't think he has the veteran. He doesn't have as long as obviously he hasn't been in the league that long, but I think Mike Fisher just kind of knew what he needed to do. Obviously, I guess also Mike Fisher got hurt throughout the playoffs, but
Then again, Roman Josi is 28 and has made a run to the finals and 2 deep
yes,
second round runs. So is
it's
that
not
it?
really it's not really a Roman Josi thing.
And
I think
just
you're missing
that
because now
player.
you've got Ryan Johansson, Ryan Ellis, Matthias Ekholm, and who else is on the leadership group besides Pekka?
Johansson?
No, not Johansson.
No, Forsberg.
Forsberg is on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really don't have many guys that have you've went to the Stanley Cup Finals with them, but you don't have many guys that have really had those deep playoff runs, which I guess we have in the last. This entire team is basically the same, but you miss somebody like a Mike Fisher.
So who, and this is a good question to ask, who in the NHL right now, if you're the Nashville Predators, is that older guy who's made the run that you can afford, that you're willing to say, okay, I'll give you a prospect, I'll give you this because we want to make a run at it?
I was just about to skip to that topic.
I'd have to take a look at it.
We have the cap space. We have $6.5 million. And the current cap space, we
for
have
real?
$15 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our cap space is good right now. So when you look at it, man, I'd love to get a player. He's not old. He's not big.
I mean, you're gonna have to go old. I hate to say it. I think you're gonna have to go at least 30.
I was gonna say Ryan Nugent-Hopkins because I want a goal scorer, but he's
No.
not.
I know we had talked about it the other day, but after I had to go back and look at the cap, what and how much is being paid, I don't know if you want to give up that much.
That is
for
$6 million.
paying
He's
that
$6
much
million.
and have that taken on. You really look at it. Maybe you try to pull. I hate to say this. Maybe you try to pull somebody off the Blackhawks.
You know how I would love, and this is just ridiculous, and it would never happen, but the guy I would love, to go, just because this team's not selling, I would love a guy like Joe Thornton.
I thought the same thing.
Jumbo Joe in a Nashville Predators
But he would
uniform.
add so physicality.
That's
is
the
huge.
guy you're looking for.
Yeah,
But the thing is, you got the
They're
Sharks
not
making a
they're
run
not
at
selling.
us. The Sharks are not a selling team. You're not going to get it.
So
But
let's
look at a team like
people who are
Chicago.
selling. Or Anaheim. Or is Anaheim ready to sell yet?
I would say no, not yet.
And I don't know who you go get from Anaheim.
You could
Getzlav is signed for too long.
Yeah.
Their contracts are just atrocious.
maybe you can go look at.
How are Anisimov's stats in Chicago this year?
They're
He's getting paid $4 million. That's not a bad thing to take on.
Anisimov. He has 8 goals, 14 assists, and 22 points with a -3.
The -3 because he's on the
46
Blackhawks.
games. Well, yeah. Maybe you go get a.
To throw this out there, he was not on
He wasn't
the
on.
teams for
Yeah. He was on some
Chicago
of
that
them.
went to the.
Yeah, you're right.
He played for Chicago 2015, 2016 was his first year, and so
So what are you thinking? You're not going to get a Brent Seabrook or anything.
Well, no, or Duncan Keith because they're paying them too much.
Yeah. Duncan Keith's getting 5.5 right now.
Yeah, and so you don't want to take that on either for basically a third D pairing.
You know what? New York Rangers, hi. We want Cody McLeod back. We just need a guy to get some penalty minutes for us.
But sadly, they're bad enough where they probably actually halfway think about that deal.
goodness gracious, can you imagine snagging Cody McLeod, 34 years old, $750,000 cap hit? You could essentially give him a 5th round pick.
And there's obviously not too
What if
many.
you go get Cody McLeod again?
You could bring him right back. Bring him back. I don't care.
Okay,
How funny would that be?
this guy. I pulled him off. I was randomly looking through rosters today, trying to think of who we could trade for. He's not old. He's 6'4" though, and 210 pounds. Alex Chiasson, how do you say that name? He's from Edmonton. He's got 17 goals and 8 assists. So he's a goal scorer, and he's big. You want that size.
Yeah, but what does he Does he bring a?
He's getting paid
physicality?
$650,000. What are you losing?
You're not losing really anything.
Hey, here's the thing though.
You need somebody that can hit.
I think you look at our roster right now, and in reality, you look at Edmonton, and they talked about this the other day on the Steve Dangle podcast with the Leafs. How many Edmonton wingers make Nashville's team? Go through it. Pull it up right now. You can start going.
I'm looking up
the Edmonton wingers. Okay, let's look. Milan Lucic.
No, he's
Pass.
too old.
Not a good. I mean, he's signed through 22-23 at $6 million.
Way too much
Yeah.
money for him.
Okay.
Nugent Hopkins is getting paid too much for what he is. He'd be like a third liner.
And then he's
Yeah.
a center. I mean, you start going through it. Maybe Jesse Puljujarvi,
Maybe.
but he's a young baby who they're still trying to raise up. You just go through it. Their wingers are so bad, which brings me into a theory. Calgary sends James Neal to Edmonton in return. Listen to this. I've been thinking about how Calgary, because Neal has this $5.7 million cap hit. He's not producing in Calgary. They have him signed for 5 years. Here's my solution. Edmonton just signed Mikko Koskinen,
I saw that.
4.5 through 21-22.
Yep.
Talbot is currently making 4.166667.
Which is awful because he is not good right now.
Awful. Calgary, let's be honest, Mike Smith is not where he needs to be. Calgary wouldn't mind having Cam Talbot as a backup goalie in this situation. Go ahead, trade Talbot for Neal. You're not having a huge
That's
switch
not a
off.
big cap space switch off right there.
Not at all.
But man, Cam Talbot's save percentage is 8.94.
It's sad. I really like Cam Talbot too.
And he has 9 wins, 13 losses.
It's not good.
He's having a bad season, yeah. After last season.
But you're right. You said as a backup, sure, get Cam Talbot.
And then you look at Calgary, they don't need James Neal right now.
No.
Edmonton needs James Neal right now.
What if in that switch could just be what James Neal needs?
Exactly.
Like I don't know who James Neal even plays with right now on this Calgary team.
Yeah,
like
it's a
who's
really
on his
odd
line?
situation
I
for
can't
him.
even tell you who it is. Like
I just don't know. He might just need a different place to play because he
Can you
might be on a
imagine
bad
James
line.
Neal on a wing of McDavid?
because I mean,
Oh,
look,
man.
the reason James
would be-
Neal.
You'd be dead.
Well, the reason James Neal got the money that he did is because A, he was good in Nashville. B, Vegas, he made a
He
solid
did well
Vegas
solid,
run.
and he was a huge leader in that Vegas.
So they're like, Calgary was like, yeah, man, please come to Calgary. Here's $5.75 million. Dude, 9 months later. that's a SpongeBob reference. Ben doesn't
I have
get
no
that.
idea.
But yeah, then they're
Never
like,
seen SpongeBob,
then they're
don't
like,
like wasting my brain cells.
yeah, then they're like, James, dude, why do you suck? Because you have 5 goals and 6 assists on our season, and we need you, man. Even though Calgary's sitting at like 3rd in the league right now.
Can you imagine what it would be like? Because they obviously don't need Neal to score.
No.
Can you imagine? He has a minus plus minus, so he's on the
Freaking physical.
So if you were to
Yeah.
sit there and throw him on a wing with McDavid, and the Oilers said, okay, we want to build something, or with Leon Draisaitl, he is going to be a great player. He would be a great player along either of those guys because it frees them up because you have a veteran goal scorer who you know can put the puck in the net right there waiting.
If he wasn't so expensive, I'd love Nashville to get him. He's a leader. He's physical. He is a playoff person. And, oh, man.
He's just too expensive.
Would
Unless
Calgary
Calgary could, retain that salary, which I don't think they would.
They won't.
No.
They don't have enough cap space.
No.
And they're not going to have enough cap space because they're about to have to re-sign. They have to do something.
They have
They're
to-
about to
they're
re-sign
upgrading.
Matthew
That
Tkachuk.
guy.
Kachuk.
Matthew Tkachuk.
And Sam Bennett it needs re-signed.
Kachuk's going to take up a lot of money.
I mean, Kachuk's a big name player.
He's already got like 25 goals this season.
So,
and they have to, if they want to stick with Rittich.
Yeah.
His deal expires. Thank goodness for Calgary, Mike Smith is gone after this year. He's currently a 4.250 cap hit in his current save percentage.
How did they manage-
is .888.
That is so bad.
How did they manage to think paying him that much was a good idea?
The only reason they're winning is because they have that Johnny Gaudreau line with Sean Monahan. And
I hate to say it, but Mike Smith was good in Tampa and he was good in Phoenix or Arizona for About a season.
It's because he flails around.
Yeah, he does, and he gets kind of mad. So he has a temper tantrum, like some people.
I just looked over the TV and
To let
Florida was
everyone
up
know,
5-2.
Heath, would you like to share what took place a few weeks ago when we were at stick time and you got scored on?
Oh goodness.
I got scored on, and
We were playing
kinda
pickup.
took my stick and broke it on the post, and then stomped on it just to fully break it in half.
And then claimed it broke.
Yeah, and
on
he
the
claimed
puck.
it broke.
I was like, yeah.
These goalies are just ridiculously
Yeah, these-
mentally insane.
Especially in stick time. Come on, man.
I don't like giving up goals, man.
No.
Hey, I sniped on you the time before last, though. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
getting that puck like an inch off the ground.
Hey,
I had no
it got
pegs.
past you.
I had no pegs. I couldn't even get over there.
You right. You right.
Horrible hockey player.
Oh, we're trash talking each other. Clearly the hatred is flowing. But in saying that, goalies get mad. Mike Smith is just...
He's a different breed. He's kind of like Tuukka Rask. Tuukka Rask, he's settled down some though. He's
The
just
Flames
tall.
got to do something to get rid of James Neal. Because
Yeah.
the facts are simple.
He's a cancer on their
He is
roster.
not a cancer.
He's
Not in
Obviously
the
not, 'cause
locker
they're
room, but in
doing
their cap
well.
space. In their I didn't say in their locker room. In their
didn't
cap
say anything.
space.
He's signed longer than Johnny Gaudreau.
I know.
That's so depressing.
Why do you
for
think
him.
I'm saying what I'm saying, man? He's a cancer in the cap space.
They've got to dump James. They have to dump James Neal.
James Neal will not be on that team next year.
Unless they essentially are sitting here saying that
He's a
by
good
the
player.
loss of Mike Smith, but then you have to also re-sign a goalie. You're going to have to sign someone. They have to dump Cap, and it's going to have to
Well,
be
the thing
James
is,
Neal.
we said that like players get better after they adjust. Like Kyle Turris got better after he was here a little while, but James Neal has no one to play with. So unless they get players there for James Neal, which why are you going to build a team around James Neal in the first place? But let James Neal go somewhere where he's going to be better.
Edmonton.
I agree. That'd be great.
I think Edmonton is the destination.
Could you imagine a like Neal, McDavid, and who Draisaitl? Lucic line? Oh gosh.
Lucic, the worst. Speaking of contracts to dump, Milan Lucic.
So apparently,
What a waste.
James Neal was supposed to be on the first line, but then they've moved him around a lot. Apparently,
Well,
Like
Lindholm
third-
is getting good.
they don't know if they're going to stick him on the second, the third, the fourth line.
That Lindholm deal is so good.
So,
Oh, yeah.
And Lindholm.
Lindholm is
4.85 until 23-24.
yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah, it is.
I don't know. They have to figure something out. They'll eventually get there. They're
Eventually.
really a superpower in the West.
The thing is, you look at Toronto versus Edmonton. If you're Edmonton, you've been just as bad as Toronto for the last 10, 12 years, right? Well, maybe not that long, but you can say that Edmonton has completely failed when they've drafted. They haven't failed when they've drafted, but they've traded terribly. Taylor
Can you
Hall.
imagine McDavid and Taylor Hall playing together?
Taylor Hall for a defenseman.
But Adam Larson is not even that good.
No, not really.
And I don't even like Taylor Hall. And I'm speaking good about Taylor Hall.
Hey, I'll tell you what. All these teams, if you look at a situation like Edmonton and like Toronto, do you trade McDavid?
It's going to be very hard to trade.
I've heard this on other podcasts. The whole do you trade McDavid thing, it's literally 50-50 because some people are like, yeah, dump him because you need the cap space. But then why are you stupid enough to dump the best player in the NHL? That's
Okay, maybe you don't dump McDavid, but do you dump Draisaitl? Do you dump Lucic? No one wants
him because he's like
Yeah,
older
no,
than
yeah.
You have to buy him. His
No one wants
contract's
him.
too bad.
Unless like
Do you-
LA Kings to pick
do
them
you-
up. They're old.
and they take stupid contracts.
Do you dump Ryan Nugent? Do you literally dump all these contracts out the
And
door,
restart.
tank, and just restart completely?
You're going to have to.
Build up draft. I mean, think about it. If you were to say
If they can draft him
to
not
someone,
trade stupid.
"Hey, we'll give you Leon Draisaitl for," I'm trying to think of who needs another piece. Like Carolina is a piece away from being a good team.
Yeah.
If you looked at Carolina and said, "Hey, we'll give you Draisaitl if you give us your first round pick and
Yep.
a good prospect and maybe a third round pick or something like that, and grab that." You trade Ryan Nugent Hopkins for another team who's
Yep.
another team who could use Nuge.
I think Colorado could.
Colorado dump. Oh man, that
until they decide they have to sign Mikko Rantanen, and there goes the rest of their cap space.
Well, that too, but
Mikko Rantanen's about to take a lot of their cap.
Anyways, beside the point. Maybe not Colorado. You dump them off somewhere. Are you going through this whole idea of what Toronto did of saying, hey, let's completely restart this entire thing and build a team? Because now you look at Toronto and you build a team where your hometown boys want to come back.
You have a good head coach.
You have a great head coach.
Edmonton has a good head coach now.
He's not sticking around.
No, but he's decent enough to keep them afloat.
Man, send Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to the Arizona Coyotes. They got the room.
Let him do it.
They got the room.
What's
Their projected cap space is $6.5 million. Their current cap space is $16 million.
But do they have the actual money to do it?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Because they don't sell tickets and they don't have the TV deals.
No, they continue to change.
But if they get good, that'll change. I mean, look how bad the Preds were 8 years ago, and attendance was down. We were not Arizona. We were not Arizona.
The Predators have never been Arizona.
The problem is we've made playoffs consistently.
But the thing is, look in the last 4 or 5 years, you put a good product on the ice. Look how much the publicity of the Preds has gone up. Arizona just needs a better product on the ice. And it's going to take better
The
players.
other thing is Arizona's too far away from downtown Phoenix. When we went out there,
No, it's not. All those Cardinals fans go.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's a 8 times a year you drive out.
Didn't somebody tell us that they drove an hour and a half to get there?
It's like an hour and a half
for 20 miles because
20
it's
miles,
20 miles from Glendale to Phoenix. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But it's the traffic that they said was so bad there. But yeah. Anyway, that's besides the point. This next part, I just want to get to it. We're gonna make this quick. No jumping around. Do the Preds make any moves at the trade deadline? What is one player that you think would be moved from the Preds during this trade deadline?
I have no idea.
I don't either. But if I had to guess, that's the thing, they don't need to give up the cap space. Like we're not we're not in a bad position.
They really need to give up.
No. So do they give up someone small? Do you give up one of those extra D guys that you have scratched every night because you got a couple? I hate to say it, Anthony Boteto, Matt Irwin. One of them is probably not going to be here at the end of the season.
I don't think you do.
Because
you don't want to lose that depth going into playoffs.
No, I don't think so either.
To me, my opinion, and we can judge me and think that I'm wrong in saying it, I currently don't know if Nashville needs to go out and get that extra piece.
We really don't. They've been so inconsistent, though.
But will Poyle do it?
I think
he will.
If you do it,
you just need somebody.
You're in a bad position this year because your guys who are scratched every night can't clear. They're not. They have to go through waivers.
Yeah.
So you're not in a place where you can just go out and get another guy who you can send another guy to the minors and then deal with it there. You're sitting there in an awful position where your roster now is what you have.
And you're going to have to live with it, basically.
And this team is good because they've done it before. We have the talent on this team and we are fully healthy to be dangerous and to be the best team in the NHL. But we're so inconsistent right now, it hurts my brain.
You cannot put... It's going to take a lot to tell me this team is going to have to make a trade.
Yeah.
I mean, the teams that you're playing as of late really can't... You can't tell me if they...
We're not that desperate for a trade. We just need to do better.
I'm going to tell you right now, if Tampa goes out... Let's think of a team...
If Tampa does go out, yeah.
Okay, let's think about this. Tampa goes out, loses to Toronto 4-2. Big loss, whatever. Tampa looks at it and says, we're missing the piece to beat Toronto, a team that we're probably going to have to go through, or Boston.
That's how you have to look at it.
And Tampa's not going to make a move. Why? Because we look at Tampa from an outside view. We're like, that is a perfect team. They have Ryan. They have the defense with McDonough and Hedman. They have the forwards with Kucherov, Stamkos, and Braden Point. They're not going to make a trade.
No, they have no need to.
Nashville probably doesn't have a need to make a trade.
Yeah, because
but you know what? All those fans did after the Winnipeg game. They went insane. 102.5 went insane. Everyone went insane. I went insane on the radio. I called into 102.5 and went off because Jared Stillman decided that he was going to shake in his boots boots about losing to Winnipeg 5-1, and I
It's a
said
game.
it's one game. Look at the past games. We're 7-7 in our past 14 with them. We're even. We're deadlocked. We can beat
Honestly,
this team.
Ryan Ellis said it. We beat them 3-0 at the beginning of the year. What's to say that
If
team
Winnipeg
Exactly.
and the Predators played 10 times in a game in Game 7, it would be 5-5 split. I think.
I think you're right.
These are two very good hockey teams, basically the same. The only difference between Winnipeg and Nashville is Winnipeg has got height, and they're kind of a heavy team.
Let's be honest about this really quickly. If you look at the two teams, I would say Nashville probably has more skill throughout the
It
lineup,
probably does.
and Winnipeg's probably bigger, and that just balances each other out.
The only other thing I could say with Winnipeg is I think they do have a little bit more veteran leadership
I agree.
than the Nashville Predators.
Dustin Bufflin.
But okay, yeah.
For listeners out there who don't know, I harassed Dustin Bufflin and called him a piece of dirt in front of his parents, and it was awkward.
Yeah,
His parents were right behind us at the playoff game last year, so
See
that was
my
fun.
Twitter. Anyways, besides the point.
I mean, but
You're right.
You can't. It's hard to tell this team is going to needs a piece because then you look at the schedule in February. You're playing Dallas, Arizona, Dallas, St. Louis, Detroit, Montreal, Vegas.
Don't we
Dallas,
play
and
Winnipeg
LA.
twice before the end of the season, both at
Yeah,
Winnipeg?
I think it's in April.
We play them 2 more times. It's not in
No,
April.
it's in It's in March.
If
play in
we
Winnipeg twice.
split that 1-1, I'm not scared.
No, you
No.
don't need to. Now,
There's no reason to be scared.
March will, even though it's going to be after the trade deadline, March will be the time when you realize if this team needs somebody or not.
I'll tell you what is really fascinating to me. We can sit here, we can be scared of a lot of teams as Nashville Predators fans.
But
We swept our series with Tampa. We've given them 2 losses. We destroyed Toronto, made them look silly.
Colorado can't beat us
do
in
you
their own
know
house.
how many other
We
people?
shut out Winnipeg at one point.
How many other fans of other hockey teams look at Nashville and go, "We've got to play Nashville tonight.
Yeah.
We might be up a creek."
Yeah. And rightfully so, to be honest.
Because that's
And I think
what we've built.
We're very,
We're spoiled at this point.
yeah.
Yet last week we started out our show saying we are biased Preds fans. I think we're so biased that we have lost sight of how the reality of this team.
Yeah, it's hard too because you get so used to winning and then you start losing like we have
Yeah.
in the last 2
Like
months.
from the outside looking in, if it's the first round of the playoffs and you're a diehard Colorado Avalanche fan, you're shaking in your boots because you know that you're
because
probably
you got
not
one
going to be
line with
Nashville.
Colorado.
You got one line, and that line didn't show up today to play because we won 4-1 against them.
Yeah.
And
you shut
Pekka's
down
like
the
7-0 in his last 7 games against Colorado at Pepsi Center.
Yeah, that's unreal. That's unreal. Okay, really quickly, moving on. We got really excited about the Jets there. It's going to be amazing. I really want us to quickly go into this idea of we had a question on YouTube, which
Yep.
if you don't know, we are on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're currently on SoundCloud. Hopefully you're listening to this on iTunes. We're going to be on iTunes shortly. The question is, how do you guys think Florida's season would have gone if Trocheck was healthy for the majority of the season, and what goalie should they go for? I'm going to touch on this really quickly. Trocheck last year played in 82 games. He had 75 points with 31 goals and 44 assists. That is really good.
It's really good.
The problem is the Panthers are 12 points out of a playoff spot, and I don't know if that is good enough.
I don't think him because when he had asked it, I started thinking about it. I don't think one player is going to make that team make the playoffs. You look at it; they have to start. They need to rebuild because they're kind of in this what the Predators have been.
Slam my phone on the ground.
The Predators, like in 2000 and basically throughout their entire existence. This isn't Florida. It's kind of Florida situation right now where they're in this. We're average, so we're getting decent draft picks, but we aren't so bad where we're getting the top 5 draft picks.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the standings as of late. I don't know where they're at in the standings.
They're
Are they
12 points out of a playoff spot.
They're quite up.
Oh, they're pretty far at the bottom, so they'll get a decent draft pick. But I don't think Trocheck by himself can make that team.
No, he's
Definitely
not.
Now they do need goaltending.
Okay, I did the research on this. I have a solution for him.
Oh no.
Robin Leonard's deal expires. And,
He's a good goalie.
And for New York Islanders this year,
Hopefully.
he and Grice have split games, and both of their save percentages are in the top 10 in the NHL. Robin Leonard needs a starting job. Is Florida the place for him? Is Florida a place? And they've got to get rid of a Luongo or Reimer deal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you find a way to send Luongo back to the island, the place where he originated?
You could.
They have plenty of cap space. They have $9 million in cap space. That's not a bad place for Luongo to sit as a backup, let's be honest, to Grice. And so, to answer your question there on YouTube, I don't think that Trocheck
Definitely not.
could have made a difference. A full difference. I don't think he makes a season difference.
No.
I think your difference comes if you can get a better goaltender.
You have
And
to
I
find a
think-
goaltender.
I think Leonard might be your answer for that. I mean, I just think that he needed a place. He needs to get out of New York. I think that he's in Buffalo. Now he is in the Islander. I think he would look good in Florida. Get some warm, get some sun.
Get
take
that
the
vitamin
total
D.
pressure off of him. Of
I mean-
like the New York City pressure.
They're living. Florida's living off of James Reimer. Sorry, Roberto Luongo. Sorry, we're currently watching this Florida Panthers game. as
There's a
well.
fight
It's on
going
TV,
on.
I guess.
Yeah.
We get distracted so easily.
But James
That's our story.
Reimer and Luongo. James Reimer and Luongo both have over 3.10 goals allowed at the moment.
They're both not good.
I would take James Reimer.
And I
though.
love Luongo. He's
I
a
love
great
him.
goalie.
He's hilarious on
He's
Twitter.
just getting old.
I would take Reimer.
I
I
would
think,
take Reimer.
you know, honestly, what if the change of scenery was all it was and you take Reimer and put him in Florida?
Or in,
Because you look
Or,
at,
yeah,
now you look
in,
at Robin
Islanders.
Leonard. He needed to change the scenery. He went from Buffalo, had a horrible season last year.
Yeah.
And he's doing great. Now maybe it's Mitch Korn, I don't know. Everywhere Mitch Korn goes, he makes good goalies.
Yeah.
goal is. Maybe. I just think that for the Florida Panthers, they need to do something. I think they're a good team. They're just missing a few pieces.
They are.
Goaltending might be it. They need a little bit more up front. Something else. Speaking of the Islanders, are you guys aware of where the Islanders sit in the
Yes.
standings?
I saw this the other day.
Second in the
First in the Metro.
Yeah,
first in the Metro,
Metro.
second in the league
Metro with a 3-point lead
Yeah.
over
on
Columbus.
Columbus.
Is greatly
The Islanders,
surprising.
do they have a shot?
I think they do if they can go in hot. I think they do. Their goaltending can hold up.
Will Barry Trotz be the first coach to win 2 consecutive Stanley Cups with 2 different teams? Is that like a stat? Is that a thing? That would be-
maybe
that
forever
would be
ago
insane.
with like Montreal or somebody, but we're talking like
I have
20s.
no idea.
Talk about how insane that would be if Barry Trotz won 2 back-to-back cups with 2 different
Do
teams.
I think he can do it with that team? No.
No.
I don't think the Islanders are good enough
But
to do that.
what if they got that acquisition before the trade deadline that made them a little better?
Like
I don't see. I
Tavares?
don't know. Yeah, just get Tavares back. Tavares is coming back home. No, I don't know. I don't see New York Islanders being a far
They probably
deep playoff
won't.
team.
They'll
Keep in
probably
mind, they're 8-2-0 in their last 10. They're hot now.
Yeah.
They're going to die out. But I think it's really neat to see the Islanders atop the standings.
'Cause
play
they
Columbus
shouldn't-
2 more times.
everybody had them bad this year.
Or, I'm sorry, they played Columbus 3 more times.
Who
that
are they-
could be a difference.
Who could be a first-round matchup for them in playoffs?
Yeah, Montreal
I
or
was about to
Pittsburgh.
say.
Right now, it would be Montreal. Which Montreal is sitting there and
Montreal. That'd
pretty
be a good
comfortable.
series.
It would
Like
be a fun series.
Montreal's a good team.
It would be fun.
Yeah.
Columbus and Washington would be fun again. Man, right now you have a Tampa Pittsburgh first round, which would
Man,
be
that
so fun.
that would be fun.
I think a lot of that would be super fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
I just would love to see the Islanders do something special this year, just because they haven't done anything special, and it would be really neat if they could get something in their old barn. The renovations. They don't need renovations.
Yeah, they need renovations more than they need a cup.
They did.
But imagine how cool it would be the last season
That
of
would
that
be
arena
cool.
to win a Stanley Cup.
That place
That
is
would
so
be really
loud.
cool. It's
It would be
a
amazing.
that's a scary place.
It's a loud
to
arena.
play.
The Jumbotron sucks, but it's a loud arena. And I'm also still pissed that it was $30 for 2 Diet Cokes.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
right.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's It's New York, but
But the real story of the day is the Coyotes are on a 3-game point streak. They're 4 points out of a playoff spot, and they just beat the Leafs 4-2. They're coming for you. Anyone who's playing them in the future, we know the Preds can't beat them.
They had 2 games in hand on Vancouver, and they're only 4 points back.
Yeah, they're coming. They're climbing.
Arizona's. Do you think Arizona's going to make playoffs?
I think Arizona's going to make playoffs.
Do you really?
Yes, I am locking it in.
They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. If Arizona can go 8-2 in 10 games, I think they make it. But right now, they're just not showing me enough to get to that point. I would love it. I would love it. Can you imagine how amazing it would be if you could have a Winnipeg, Arizona first round?
I would go to every game in Phoenix.
Fun times.
Man, I miss Gila River.
Do you?
Yeah.
But I mean, that would just be, of course, right now it'd actually be Calgary in Arizona. But, man, it's looking like it's going to be Calgary, Arizona, if Arizona were to make it. But in saying all of that, I think it would be really fun to watch the Yotes make the playoffs.
I do too, man. That would be a story.
That fan base needs a deep run, maybe a Stanley Cup final run.
It needs a playoff appearance.
Yeah.
I mean, its last one was the Stanley Cup final, Western Conference final against who was that? Chicago
in
or
2012
LA?
Against
I think it was LA.
Kings.
It's been 10, nearly 11 years since Arizona's made playoffs.
That year, they beat the Preds in 5 games.
Yes, they did.
It was 2012. That's not 10 years.
That was 7
I
years
thought you said
ago.
2008.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think they made playoffs in 2008.
You just said 2008, and that's what got me.
Oh.
Hey, let's be honest. You can pretty much throw any year out there, and there's a good chance the Coyotes did not.
I mean, they had
That is
Wes
very
Gretzky as
true.
their head coach.
That's going to change.
No, it's not, Cole.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, whatever.
Okay. I think, a big thing for me, at least today, is this isn't really I guess it's a team. It's a Predator ordeal. But Laviolette getting his 600th career NHL coaching win.
That's huge.
He's one of 20.
He's the second U.S.-born head coach to hit that.
There's only
I guess behind
20
Tortorella.
coaches ever to do that. So congrats to you, Coach Lavi.
We love you.
You're elite.
That's impressive.
You were already elite, but you're still elite.
We love you.
I just want everybody to know.
I do want to touch on this before we wrap up, and this will be one of the last things that we look at in today's show. If you've made it this far, we appreciate you so much listening. Ovechkin and Carey Price are skipping the All-Star game. What do you guys think about that?
I don't think,
I'm not worried about
I think
it.
you've gone so many times. Yeah, I think you
If you've gone 3, 4, 5, 6, whoever cares how many times, if you've done it before, you've gone through the experience, and you're Alex Ovechkin's age, take that off. If you want to go relax, dude, you've earned your time to relax. I am not hurt by you saying, nah, I'll skip the All-Star game. Especially if I'm a Caps fan. I'm like, yeah, please kick your feet up, relax.
I mean, who gets suspended one game? Okay, there's an extra
Yeah,
day.
take the game. That's just an little extra time off.
I'm going to say this, and I thought this was really interesting. Steven Stamkos.
Man, that's ramping up again.
I saw this quote talking about the Panther-Sharks game. I saw this quote, though, by Steven Stamkos about the All-Star game. He said he was shocked that he made the All-Star game, and then I quote, "You cherish them because you never know when it'll be your last."
Yeah, I like that.
I love it. I think that shows the type of guy Steven Stamkos is. I think that if you are sitting there, and I understand the rest thing, I think that makes sense. I think if your lifelong dream was to play in the NHL,
Then you get
But
it.
do you also look at it from
and you go and you play in that All-Star game, because that is something that
It's
when
an-
you look back 30 years from now,
how many
you
players
earned it.
get to
You earned
play
it.
in the All-Star? I know there's a lot.
but when
how
you think
many?
about it,
It's not really a
And
lot.
it's a lot of them the same ones every year.
Yeah.
And you think
It's a
and
special
I don't
thing.
want to put it like this, but it's gonna sound like this, but you also think about, like these young kids that go to these All-Star games that we want to see Alexander Ovechkin, we want to see Stamkos and all these players, and then they don't show up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Think about how bad it is for the game to
Yeah.
not have your best players
Yeah.
want to go to the All-Star. And I know
I can understand it if you've been hurt all season,
Yeah.
and you need to take the time off.
and you're not making the All-Star game if that's
right.
the case.
Or if you just for some reason had like a week of something, I don't know. But maybe you think I understand Ovechkin. They went to the Stanley Cup final last year. I kind of understand it. But you want to see somebody like him go to the All-Star game.
I'm not against them skipping, but I will go with what Ben said on, like, if you really love the game, you're not going to turn down the All-Star game. But I also get that if you've been there and done that and you just want the time off, dude, I'm not going to chastise you for it. Take your time.
Yeah.
You've earned it.
That's a good point. Well, we thank you so much for tuning in to the second episode of the Hattie podcast. It really means a lot, especially if you got this far. I know I talked to a couple people who listened deep in the show and talked to me about things that they enjoyed in the show. That means more to us than like we can put into words. The fact that you're willing to take, an hour out of your day to turn us on, whether you're in the car, in your house, or whatever you're doing in your shower. Hey, there's nothing wrong with
I listen to podcasts in my shower every day.
It's fantastic.
You're a weird person.
Anyways, whatever you do, we're so thankful for you. We're so glad that you took time to listen to us and
Like, subscribe, share it with your friends if you liked what you heard. That's all I got.
And that was a man who has been watching too many YouTube.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. We hope that you'll stick around with us and be here for next week for our next show. Y'all have a great rest of your night.